I'm not really sure if this is the right time to make this video, but why not? I'm a huge Doom fan, and if we do get an early sequel to Doom 2016, I would definitely be pumped for it for sure, because I loved Doom 2016. Not only that, the game was a success, so Doom 5 or the next Doom game could be released in the next 1 to 2 years. Doom 2016 was an excellent game indeed, but I did feel like there were still some issues here and there that I feel like it could have really made Doom 2016 just as good as the original Doom and Doom 2, which in my opinion were the best games in the series. So enough of this intro. I'm going to talk about my wish list for Doom 5, starting from the campaign, then multiplayer, and we'll end it with Snap Map. Campaign was easily the best part in Doom 2016. It was a lot of fun to play, and also a lot of fun to replay, since I definitely enjoyed the new mechanics like the weapon mods or rune trials for the Doom series. As great the campaign was, I want to talk about what could be improved upon. Without a doubt, more action. I hated how a lot of the fights just didn't scratch that itch of wanting more exciting and intense fights. There were a decent amount of fights that made me wish it had more enemies going on, or at least a little bit longer. I really want to see better gameplay mechanic balance. I personally think the weapon balance in Doom's campaign could have been better. If you really think about it, a lot of the weapons you use in the early maps, you don't really use them in the later maps. Why should I use the shotgun with explosive rounds when I got the rocket launcher? Why should I use the heavy assault rifle when I got the chain gun? A lot of the bigger weapons are almost like upgraded versions of the earlier weapons, and I just never see any real reason to use them. The only weapon I would still use from the early maps to the later maps is the plasma rifle because of the stun bomb. Speaking of stun bombs, I just think the weapon mods could have also been better balanced too. The stun bomb is vastly superior than the heat blast, where I think that mod just sucks. Same thing can be said for the heavy assault rifle, where I think the zoom function isn't really that useful in many situations compared to the micro missiles, and it's a lot easier to max the micro missiles upgrade too. I want to see weapon mods that feel balanced and has a purpose to be competitive against the other weapon mod of that weapon. I personally wouldn't want more weapon mods. I would rather have quality weapon balance than just have a bunch of weapons where balancing them becomes a harder task. This can be said for the same thing for weapons and the runes. I think some of them are pretty useless. The longer enemy stagger rune just seems so pointless for me, and some of them are very powerful too, like the rich get richer rune, where you can have infinite ammo depending your armor. You can combine that with equipment power at max level, and you can pretty much just spam the siphon grenade for armor regeneration, and it just feels wrong. I think we need to have like a skill tree for these runes so people can't be able to do those type of things. I think certain runes will be part of an offensive category, and some of them will be defensive, and obviously you can only pick one rune out of those two categories, and let's just say both of these categories have like 4 different options you can choose. I think having this can make the game feel more balanced and fair, because to be honest, I personally think all you gotta do is just max out the rocket launcher detonation mod. Same thing with the Gauss cannon with siege mode. Use the double ammo, the infinite ammo, and equipment power runes, and Ultra Nightmare is literally a cakewalk. I just hope in the next Doom players won't feel so stupidly overpowered with this kind of class setup, because I really want this game to feel balanced when you play the game. Another thing that is a must for the campaign is more maps that feel non-linear or similar to classic Doom style maps. We had some of them in Doom 2016, but I kind of wish there was more to it, since I like those kinds of maps, and that was some of the components that makes Doom 1 and 2 fantastic to play. Another thing is, I just felt like the campaign lacked memorable moments. There were some of them for sure. I liked the Dead Simple inspired arena in one of the hell levels, but I just feel like it didn't come close to the classic Doom games. Doom 1 and 2 had so many memorable moments, whether it's finding the secret level in E1M3 or how amazing the flow and the map layout was in E1M7, the introduction of the Barons to learning how powerful the Super Shotgun was, to Map 5's creepy atmosphere, to Map 6 2016's Blue Skull Trap. Like, there were so many memorable moments in Doom 1 and 2, and I just want more of that in the next Doom to make the game feel better and give me a lasting impression like the older games did. Last one before I move into multiplayer, I want a pistol start type of format. I'm still upset we couldn't play the campaign while starting with a pistol and trying to find better weapons and so forth. I didn't really care about arcade mode, but I want an alternative way to play the campaign than the intentional way. Maybe like an exclusive mini campaign like Doom 5 Master Levels, where these levels can be unlocked if you complete the game on the hardest difficulty, and these 4 levels are basically levels just there to challenge you, test your skills within the game, and much harder than the main campaign. Something along those lines would definitely please me for sure. Okay, multiplayer. I do know there's a lot of haters of Doom multiplayer, but also people who enjoy them, and I happen to like Doom's multiplayer. I always thought it was alright, and that's actually a good thing because Doom isn't really known for the multiplayer component. I personally think they're most likely going to stick with what Doom 2016's multiplayer is and maybe build upon it. I would love if the multiplayer component was more complex, like having a movement system and a higher skill ceiling and all that, but I think Doom's multiplayer was supposed to be like a casualized arena shooter, and it does that aspect well, so to make the game more complicated, it's going to destroy that design intention for sure. I do wish to see us have the ability to carry more weapons, but I think it's not going to happen since I know they want to make the multiplayer simple for console users to play it, because it's more of a task to use the weapon wheel to switch to specific weapons with the weapon wheel compared to pressing one button to switch to another weapon. I think maybe at least 3 weapons could work. I know there's a button on the consoles which is not used at all for some reason, so it makes me wonder why not just take advantage of that. I do know some games have button combos for commands, and I don't know why Doom doesn't use that if it wants players to carry additional weapons, since I think it'll be cool if, you can just press the sticks to select a specific weapon, but I don't know, it's probably a lot of technical stuff that goes behind that. I personally thought the weapon balance were good. Obviously, there were weapons that are stronger than others, but it's just kind of like that when it comes to multiplayer shooters with lots of weapons. You'll have weapons that are in the A list, B list, C list, and so on. I do hope to see that continue on, and I hope the shotguns won't be so overpowered like it once was back in the pre-patch days. The equipment and runes were all well done and designed too. I do think the hologram and threat sensor were underpowered, especially the threat sensor. That thing was garbage, so having a better buff or removing them would be a good decision. I think a lot of the maps are solid too. There's really not a map I don't like in Doom. I think they all feel right, and I just hope they'll be as good for the next Doom game. A theater mode would definitely be awesome, especially for people who want to make montages, so I think that could be implemented. I'm gonna be honest here, Doom's multiplayer may be average, but I thought, there was like a lot of good things about it. Like the balance was very good in terms of its mechanics. The maps felt fun and different from each other, where it enhanced my playing experience. So it's really hard for me to see what I want to see in the next Doom game, because I personally want a more traditional arena shooter for Doom, with maybe certain things from Doom 2016's multiplayer to be fused with. But other than that, I'm just hoping it'll be as fun like Doom 2016 multiplayer and be a little bit more complicated too, while still being a casualized arena shooter and having solid balance in its mechanics with a good supply of enjoyable maps for players to play. Now for Snap Map, I personally believe Snap Map needs to have the ability to play older maps from Doom 2016's Snap Map, so we don't start at day one with mediocre launch maps or maps that just feel like demos. I do want Snap Map to be less tedious to use, especially for custom geo. I really think the fact that it's more challenging to make custom geo maps makes people not want to try it out, and we definitely need to have other features too, like being able to place enemies on player made objects. I want to see a bigger grid room, less glitches of course, include all the enemies and bosses from the campaign, all playable demons in multiplayer, cylinder blocking boxes, more texture options, more effects, more props, more of everything, and everything needs to be better. There's a lot we can list for Snap Map since it is a map editor, so there's so much you can list, but I'm just hoping everything will be more advanced than what Snap Map is in Doom 2016, and hopefully maybe easier in a way too, so people won't feel intimidated making a map or worrying about glitches and stuff. I do want to see more developer support for Snap Map, like how we had maps being featured, but let's also have a playlist option for Snap Map to cater to those who want to play multiplayer and co-op. Obviously, someone should be in charge of that. It'll be nice if the public co-op and multiplayer experience for Snap Map is similar to like most games where you wait in a lobby and you can vote for a particular map to make Snap Map a viable experience for those who want to enjoy playing it with other players without needing friends. I also want to see a higher player count for multiplayer. 4 players is too dated for today's standards. I think 4 is fine for co-op. I personally think having more than 4 in a co-op is a superfluous design. I'm hoping the hub will be just as good as the hub for Snap Map's current situation, and I would want players to be able to report a map if it's broken so authors can fix it without needing to watch a YouTube video. I think that's all I gotta say for Snap Map. So there you go, guys, my wish list for Doom 5, and what are you guys expecting for the next Doom? Leave comments in the below and I will respond if I can think of a good response. Have a nice day, everyone.